Deep in the heart of Hollow Pines Forest, there stood a house long forgotten by the world. Its roof sagged under years of neglect, and its windows gaped like hollow eyes, staring blankly into the thick woods. Locals whispered that no one who ventured inside ever came back. Yet the mystery only seemed to call to those who dared defy the warnings. Emily and her friends, Jake and Sam, thought the stories were just old wives' tales. On a chilly November evening, armed with flashlights and a sense of bravado, they decided to explore the house. As they approached, the air grew heavier, colder. The towering pines around them seemed to lean in, their branches creaking in the wind. The front door of the house was slightly ajar, swaying gently. Without a word, Emily pushed it open, revealing a dark hallway lined with peeling wallpaper and a staircase that spiraled up into shadows. "Smells like something died in here," Sam muttered, covering his nose. "Relax," Jake said, his voice steady but quieter than usual. "Let's just check it out and leave." They moved deeper into the house, their footsteps echoing on the creaky wooden floor. Dust motes danced in the beams of their flashlights, and the faint scent of rot clung to the air. In the parlor, they found a decayed armchair and a shattered mirror hanging crooked on the wall. Emily's flashlight flickered, then went out entirely. "Great!" she muttered, smacking it against her palm. That's when they heard it. A faint whisper, soft and fleeting, like the wind moving through leaves. But the sound came from inside the house. "What was that?" Jake froze, his flashlight trembling in his grip. "Probably the wind," Emily replied, though her voice lacked conviction. The whispers grew louder, clearer. It wasn't the wind. It was words, distorted, overlapping voices, murmuring in a language none of them understood. The group backed toward the staircase, intending to leave, when the front door slammed shut with a deafening bang. Sam rushed to it, pulling at the knob, but it wouldn't budge. "We need to get out of here," he said, panic rising in his voice. A sudden thud echoed from above. It was followed by the sound of something heavy being dragged across the floor. Emily aimed her flashlight up the staircase, but the beam didn't reach the top. Jake took a cautious step forward. "Maybe it's an animal." "Or maybe it's not," Emily hissed, grabbing his arm. Before they could decide, a figure appeared at the top of the stairs. It was barely human, its body gaunt, its limbs unnaturally long. Its eyes glowed faintly, and its mouth opened wide, emitting a guttural growl that echoed through the house. The group bolted, scrambling for any way out. They ran into a room at the end of the hall, slamming the door shut behind them. Inside, they found old photographs hanging crooked on the walls, depicting a family of 4. The faces were scratched out, but the silhouettes matched the creature they had seen. The whispers returned, this time all around them. The walls seemed to close in, warping and pulsing as if alive. Emily's flashlight flickered back on, revealing scrawled messages on the walls. "Leave. Stay. Never escape." The door creaked open behind them, though none of them had touched it. The creature stood there, its head tilted unnaturally, its glowing eyes fixed on them. It moved closer, its long fingers scraping against the floor. In a desperate move, Jake shattered the window with a chair, and they jumped out into the night, cutting themselves on the glass. They ran without looking back, their lungs burning and hearts pounding. When they finally reached the safety of the road, they stopped to catch their breath. Emily turned back toward the forest and froze. The house was no longer visible, as if it had vanished into the woods. Yet, as they walked home in silence, one thing stayed with them: the whispers. Faint and chilling, they followed them all the way back to town. And sometimes, late at night, Emily still hears them, calling her name.